English grime legend Dizzee Rascal is back with a new album here. If you're from the UK, you don't really need to be told who he is, because the 2000s and even early 2010s cemented him as one of the biggest artists of the grime era. Not only that, but even just in pop music at large, as he had massive #1 hits with plenty of different types of tunes, because he would collaborate with artists like Calvin Harris, and he would just give us memorable anthems for the rest of our lives, like Bonkers. And even without those, his debut album is hailed as one of the legendary moments in UK rap music just ever, with Boy in the Corner, which obviously is a good album and got him a lot of critical acclaim, won him the Mercury Prize, I believe. He's just stacked with accolades, stacked with the big numbers under his belt, with the classic tracks that you will remember probably for the rest of your life, especially if you were a kid growing up during the era that he was as big as he was. Even late into his career, he dropped a pretty damn good EP, Don't Gas Me, a few years ago. Definitely one of the best EPs of that year, easily, honestly. And yeah, so I was pretty hyped. I was pretty hyped for a new album, because I know he's got it in him to keep going. He's still got that charismatic energy. He's not dropping the big pop classics anymore. He's not charting really, but still he's staying true to himself, giving us some grime with the blends of the pop as well. And of course, I think this album here is good as well. It really just gives us what we already know that Dizzee Rascal can do. It's certainly not the most unique of his career, but I do think it actually ends up being better than some of his late 2000s albums, because sometimes they were a bit shaky in terms of the production. Some of the albums would have really great tracks on them, like Holiday, for example, but you wouldn't keep that consistency from start to finish on an album. But I think he's nailing the consistency once again here, because pretty much the entire sound of this really rings true of the grime type stuff, even garage at points as well. Opening track right out the gate with a big bassy banger. There really isn't much to say about this one other than the fact that it just has that dirty stinking bass, as he would probably say, coming through. It's like a JME banger, man. Honestly, if you go listen to any song by JME, this really fits on something he would do. That's Too Much has the repetitive chorus of everything being that's too much, something Skepta I think would do. It's interesting because Dizzee Rascal influenced all these people that I keep name dropping, but you can tell that Dizzee is taking bits and bobs from each of the modern day grime artists that have become really huge. He brings his usual wittiness here with that line about how he's got fat over his muscle and how he likes tagliatelle with a little bit of a truffle. Clearly showing his love for food here, and being that point in his life where he's kind of just letting himself go, because why not? The track after this is once again just Dizzee doing what he usually does. He sounds like he's having a lot of fun on this one, particularly on the hook. The hook surprisingly works. I expected it to get more annoying as it goes along, but he just keeps repeating the same words, that phrase that he says there. But for some reason, actually, it just ends up working. I don't know why or how, but I end up thinking this works a lot better than I anticipated it to with repeated listens. Very summery beat, some funny lines in the verses, just Dizzee doing what he does. He sounds like he's not got a care in the world. I like that about this album too. He's just kind of just reeling off whatever, and he doesn't really care at points. Two-step garage banger of You Don't Know with that chorus that would totally come out of like a Disclosure album really works well. Again, he's just showing his versatility here, because he can rap over these types of tracks. His bars aren't amazing, don't get me wrong. You're not going to hear anything that will blow you away, but I don't think he's trying to bring you that, honestly. And even when you look as far into every album he's put out over the years, I don't think he was ever trying to do that. He does, however, give us a bit more of a lyrical edge on Energy and Powers, where he's talking about how he has some regrets, and even just wishing his life went in a different direction in some aspects, losing people. He just wishes that things were a little bit different. This is probably the only track where you get a bit of an insight to who he is. But it's not like the album was desperate for this. It's not like it's easily the best song because of this. It's just a nice addition, if you get what I mean. It's nice that he threw in a song like this, but it was okay to just keep to the pretty straightforward bangers. That being said though, Body Loose takes it a bit too far on the other end of the spectrum by just having some pretty cringy lyrics about, you know, women and stuff. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's like sexist or anything like that, but just the way he's talking about how he wants to get with girls, it's just a bit cringy, honestly. Reading the lines on this was just a bit ugh. The instrumental is great though, and is flowing fantastically over the beat. Definitely one of my favourite beats on the whole thing actually, but it's just the rhyming. The rhyming is just so basic and I could do without it really. While we're on the negatives, I guess I did expect more from Eastside because it does have Kano on it, and Kano is a fantastic rapper, as you should already be aware if you're aware of grime artists. But he can be hit and miss at points, so I must admit, and I think this is one of his misses. His tone of his voice just sounds a bit out of place here, don't know why. He should be in his bag, but I just don't really feel like he's bringing his best. And the track itself just isn't all that great, honestly. Like, the beat is one of the weaker ones. Dizzy's just kind of on autopilot a little bit. Just not really highlight, which again, I'd expect a bit more from this kind of collaboration. The features generally throughout are fine, but it's one of those things where I feel like Dizzee is just working alongside his friends, maybe to just give them a bit of a boost, because you can tell when some of them come on, they're really not at the level he is. Like, he just has an instant presence on the mic, which obviously it catapulted him into mainstream success, and I think it's pretty clear as to see why Dizzee became as big as he did. But some of the other features just kind of fall into the background, and you're just waiting for Dizzee to come through and just like break your neck with the way he comes on the verses. Final track is a bit sappy, like the feature is just kind of singing in a really loose way. Like, their vocals are just so tame and loose. Be incredible. Definitely needed to end off with a bang, man. You needed to end this album off with a bang, not a track like this. But other than that, aside from those minor critiques throughout, it's just a lot of fun. It's a really fun album, and I don't really know what else there is to say. Like, a lot of the bangers just bang, you know. That's kind of one of those, it's kind of one of those albums. It's just one of those things. This is what it does, and that's the enjoyment you get. You could argue that it's not on par with his best, but goddamn, it's a lot of fun to listen to, even with a few duds every now and then. But yeah, I like this a lot. I like this a lot. I'm gonna go 7 out of 10. Hopefully you like this as much as I do. If you like it, if you don't like it, let me know either way. Thank you for watching this review though. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully you got something out of it. You should subscribe. You should subscribe if you haven't already. Tell me your favourite song from this album in the comments. Thank you for watching. Have a good day and goodbye.